Welcome to Renew Yourself Now. Are you ready to be inspired? Today, we dive into the incredible story of a man who defied all odds, who turned adversity into opportunity, and who never, ever stopped dreaming. This is the journey of Elon Musk, a boy who once felt lost in the world, but ended up reshaping the future. Let's begin. The early days, a boy lost in his own mind. Close your eyes for a second. Imagine a little boy, no older than 10, sitting alone in a quiet corner of the schoolyard. His head is buried in a book, lost in a world far away from the one he actually lives in. Other kids are playing, laughing, talking, but he doesn't fit in. Now, imagine that this boy is constantly bullied, beaten up, and even once thrown down a flight of stairs by his classmates. And when he goes home, things don't get much better. His father, a strict and sometimes cruel man, doesn't offer the warmth or support he craves. That boy was Elon Musk. From a young age, Elon was different. While other kids were interested in sports or games, Elon was fascinated by books, not just any books, but the kind that made him think, that made him question reality. At just 10 years old, he discovered something that would change his life forever: computers. It was the early 1980s, and computers were still a rare thing. But for Elon, they were like magic. And here's where the story takes a turn. Unlike most kids who would just play video games, Elon did something incredible. He learned to code all by himself. By the time he was 12 years old, he had created his own video game called Blasteran, sold it for $500. Now, think about this. How many 12-year-olds do you know who have already made money selling something they created? That's the thing about Elon. From a young age, he understood something that most people take a lifetime to learn. If you want to change your life, you can't wait for someone to save you. You have to build your own future. The power of curiosity and learning. Elon wasn't just a smart kid, he was obsessed with learning. He would read 2 books a day, that's right. While most people struggle to finish 1 book a month, he was devouring encyclopedias, physics textbooks, philosophy, and even science fiction. Why? Because he believed that knowledge was his escape. And I want you to think about this for a moment. How many of us feel trapped in our current circumstances? How many of us feel like we're stuck waiting for something to change? Elon Musk teaches us a powerful lesson. If you want to escape your reality, start by expanding your mind. He didn't have the best childhood. He didn't have the perfect family. But he had one thing that no one could take from him: his hunger to learn, to grow, to be more. The dream of a bigger world. As he got older, Elon realized something important. He didn't belong in South Africa. The country was going through political and economic turmoil, and he knew that if he wanted to achieve something big, he had to leave. But here's the problem. He was just a teenager. How do you move to another country when you have no money, no connections, and no support? Most people would have said it's impossible. But Elon, he saw a solution. His mother, May Musk, was born in Canada. That meant he could apply for Canadian citizenship. It wasn't an easy process, and it took years. But in 1989, at just 17 years old, Elon packed his bags and left South Africa completely alone. Now stop and think about this. Imagine leaving your home country as a teenager, without family, without security, without any guarantees. How many of us would have had the courage to do that? Sometimes the biggest risk you can take is refusing to take any risks at all. Elon could have stayed in South Africa, taken a safe path, and lived an average life. But he wanted more. He wasn't just dreaming of success, was willing to risk everything for it. The lesson we can all learn. Elon Musk's childhood wasn't easy. He was bullied. He was lonely. He didn't fit in. He was raised by a tough father. He grew up in a country that had no real future for his dreams. But did he let any of that stop him? And this is where his story becomes powerful for all of us. Because how many of us have faced rejection? How many of us have felt like we don't belong? How many of us have looked at our dreams and thought maybe it's impossible? But Elon's story teaches us something crucial. You don't have to accept the life you were given. You can build the life you want. He started as a bullied kid. a misfit, a nobody. And yet he became a genius entrepreneur, a billionaire, and a man who is literally building the future of humanity. So, if there's one thing you take away from today's story, let it be this. Your circumstances do not define your future. Your actions do. Your choices do. Your belief in yourself does. And just like Elon, you too can rise above anything if you have the courage to dream big and take action. This is just the beginning of Elon Musk's incredible journey. The road ahead will be filled with struggles, failures, and moments where everything seems lost. But those who refuse to quit become legends. Are you ready to continue this journey with me? Let me know, and we'll dive into the next chapter of this incredible story, the relentless pursuit of opportunity, Elon Musk's journey to America. Imagine this. You are 17 years old, standing in an airport with a small suitcase in your hand. Everything you have ever known your home, your school, your family's behind you. Ahead, there is nothing but uncertainty, no wealth, no connections, no guarantee of success, just a dream and a relentless belief that you were meant for something bigger. That was Elon Musk in 1989. He had spent his entire childhood in South Africa, a country that at the time offered few opportunities for someone with his ambitions. The economy was unstable and the political landscape was turbulent. Musk knew that if he stayed, he would never be able to build the future he envisioned. So, at 17, he made a choice that few would dare to make. He left everything behind and set out to build his own destiny. Leaving South Africa, a calculated risk, moving to another country with no money, no safety net, and no clear path forward is not just risky. For most people, it is terrifying. But Musk had one thing in his favor. His mother, May Musk, was born in Canada, which meant he could apply for Canadian citizenship. Now let's be clear. This was not a smooth or easy process. Musk had no immediate way to support himself, no powerful allies who could guide him. But he did have something that made all the difference: his ability to think strategically and take bold action, even when the outcome was uncertain. Instead of waiting for things to happen, Musk worked every angle he could. He reached out to distant relatives in Canada, trying to find anyone who could help him once he arrived. He looked for opportunities before even setting foot on Canadian soil. This is an important lesson. Many people assume that success comes from luck or privilege. But Musk was neither lucky nor privileged. He was prepared. He understood that opportunities do not simply appear, they are created through effort, persistence, and foresight. Surviving in Canada, the struggle before the breakthrough. When Musk finally arrived in Canada, reality hit him hard. The dreams of building a technology empire were still distant. First, he needed to survive. To do that, he took whatever work he could find. He worked on farms, shoveling grain in freezing temperatures for less than $10 an hour. He cleaned out boiler rooms so filthy that even the most desperate workers refused the job. He took on physically exhausting labor day after day simply to earn enough to eat. Most people would have given up. Most would have said, this is not the life I signed up for. But Musk understood something critical: hardship is temporary, but quitting is permanent. He did not waste his time complaining. Instead, he used every spare moment to plan his next move. The path to the United States, a step closer to the dream. Musk had always known that Canada was just a stepping stone. His real goal was to make it to the United States, the land of innovation, of technology, of limitless ambition. But getting there was not as simple as buying a plane ticket. So he did what he always did. He found a way. After a few months of grueling work, he enrolled at Queen's University in Ontario. He knew that a good education would open doors. And more importantly, he knew that transferring to an American university would be much easier if he started his studies in Canada. While at Queen's, Musk took a different approach from most students. Instead of simply attending classes and waiting for a degree to hand him a future, he actively sought out mentors, entrepreneurs, and opportunities. He cold called executives trying to land internships with people who could teach him about business and technology. He understood something that many people fail to grasp: success is not given to those who wait for it. It is taken by those who seek it. Transferring to the University of Pennsylvania, a strategic move. After 2 years in Canada, Musk successfully transferred to the University of Pennsylvania, one of the most prestigious schools in the United States. There, he pursued degrees in physics and economics, a combination that would later become the foundation of his future companies. He was not interested in just one field of study. He wanted to understand both how the world works, physics, and how businesses function, economics. This multidisciplinary thinking became one of his greatest strengths. During his time at Penn, Musk continued to think like an entrepreneur. He and his roommate would throw large parties and charge students an entry fee. This was not just about making money, it was about understanding how to create value, how to attract people, and how to turn ideas into income. At this point, Musk has successfully moved across continents, survived financial hardship, and positioned himself among some of the brightest minds in the world. But he was still just getting started. The ultimate decision, a leap into the unknown. After graduating from the University of Pennsylvania, Musk was accepted into a PhD program in applied physics at Stanford University. This was a golden opportunity, one of the most prestigious academic programs in the world. Most people in his position would have taken it. A PhD from Stanford would have guaranteed him a comfortable career, a stable salary, and respect in the scientific community. But Musk was not like most people. 2 days after starting his PhD, he made a decision that would change the course of his life forever. He dropped out. Why? Because he saw what was happening in the world. It was the mid-1990s, and the internet was exploding. Companies like Netscape were proving that online businesses could change the world. Musk realized that if he stayed in academia, he would spend years researching while others were out there building the future. He understood something that separates dreamers from doers. There is never a perfect time to start. If you wait too long, opportunities disappear. The takeaway, what we can learn from this chapter of Musk's life: at every step of his journey, Elon Musk faced challenges that could have stopped him. He could have stayed in South Africa telling himself it was too risky to leave. He could have given up when he was working brutal jobs in Canada. He could have taken the safe route, completed his PhD, and settled into a comfortable but ordinary life. But he did not. He kept pushing forward, taking risks, and refusing to accept limitations. And this is the lesson for all of us. Your circumstances do not define your future, your actions do. If you are in a difficult situation, find a way to move forward. If you are waiting for the right time, stop waiting and start acting. If you are surrounded by doubters, prove them wrong through persistence and vision. Elon Musk did not become a billionaire overnight. His journey was built on bold decisions, relentless work, and the willingness to sacrifice comfort for greatness. Now, the next phase of his life would take him into the world of business, where he would face his first major success and his first real taste of failure. Are you ready to keep going? Let me know, and we will continue with the next chapter of Elon Musk's extraordinary journey. The first steps into the business world, Elon Musk's early entrepreneurial journey. There is a moment in every great story when the main character faces a choice: stay on the safe path or risk everything for a bigger future. For Elon Musk, that moment came in 1995. He had just dropped out of a prestigious PhD program at Stanford, walking away from a stable and respectable academic career. Some people called him reckless, others thought he was crazy. But Musk saw something that most people did not. The internet was about to change the world, and he wanted to be part of that revolution. The birth of Zip2. Starting from nothing, Musk moved to Silicon Valley with no wealth, no network, and no guarantees. He was a young entrepreneur stepping into one of the most competitive environments in the world, where thousands of other ambitious minds were trying to build the next big thing. But while many dreamed, Musk acted. Along with his brother Kimball Musk, he co-founded Zip2, a company designed to help newspapers transition into the digital age. Think of it as an early version of Google Maps combined with Yelp, a service that provided local business directories and navigation tools for news outlets. Now, this sounds like a promising idea today, but back then, it was a radical concept. The internet was still in its infancy, and most businesses had no idea how valuable online tools would become. Musk faced rejection after rejection. Investors did not believe in his vision. Newspapers were skeptical. Money was running out. And so, like many entrepreneurs before him, Musk lived in his office, slept on the floor, showered at the local YMCA, and worked tirelessly to keep his company alive. It is easy to admire successful people when they are at the top, but few understand the suffering, the sacrifices, and the brutal persistence it takes to get there. Overcoming rejection. The key to success. At this stage, Musk was doing everything himself, coding, selling, presenting to investors. There was no glamour, no luxury, no certainty of success. But he had one advantage he refused to give up. Every rejection was just another problem to solve. Every obstacle was just another challenge to overcome. Slowly, Zip2 started gaining traction. After months of relentless effort, major newspapers like the New York Times and the Chicago Tribune finally agreed to use the platform. This was a turning point. Investors who had once dismissed him began paying attention. The company started growing. And in 1999, something incredible happened. The first big payday, selling Zip2. After 4 years of struggle, Zip2 was acquired by Compaq for $307 million. Musk walked away with $22 million in his pocket. He was 30 years old, and for the first time in his life, he was financially free. Most people, after earning that kind of money, would take a break. They would buy a mansion, travel the world, and enjoy life. But Musk was not like most people. Instead of playing it safe, he immediately reinvested almost all of his money into his next venture, risking everything once again. Because for Musk, wealth was never the goal. The goal was impact. The goal was building something that could change the world. The birth of X.com, betting on the future of money. In 1999, Musk founded X.com, an online banking company that aimed to revolutionize financial transactions. Back then, the idea of managing money through the internet was considered risky. People did not trust online banking. Traditional financial institutions dismissed it as a gimmick. But Musk, as always, saw things differently. He believed that the future of money was digital. He envisioned a world where financial transactions could be done instantly, without banks, without middlemen, without unnecessary fees. He poured $12 million of his own fortune into X.com, making it one of the first fully online banks in history. But once again, the road was not easy. Facing resistance, fighting for a vision, Musk faced enormous pushback from the financial industry. Regulators were skeptical, customers were hesitant, competitors were ruthless. And then something unexpected happened. X.com merged with another financial startup called Confinity, which had developed an innovative online payment system. That system was called PayPal. The merger led to the creation of the modern PayPal, and suddenly Musk found himself leading a company that was about to redefine global commerce. But the challenges were far from over. The struggles inside PayPal, a battle for control. Although Musk had been instrumental in building X.com and shaping the PayPal merger, conflicts began to arise within the company. Many of the early executives and engineers disagreed with Musk's leadership style. They thought he was too ambitious, too aggressive, too willing to take risks. In 2000, while Musk was on a flight for a business trip, the company's board of directors made a shocking decision. They removed him as CEO. Imagine that. You create a company, invest your entire fortune into it, and just when it starts to take off, you are pushed out. Most people would have walked away bitter, angry, and defeated. But Musk did not. Instead, he kept his shares in PayPal, stayed invested in the company, and watched as it became one of the biggest financial technology platforms in the world. And in 2002, PayPal was acquired by eBay for $1.5 billion. Musk's personal share was worth $165 million. At this point, he could have retired. He could have lived a comfortable life without ever working again. But for Musk, this was not the end of his journey. The real lesson, turning setbacks into comebacks, most people only see Musk as the billionaire who builds rockets and electric cars. But what they do not see is the relentless, almost obsessive drive that pushed him through years of rejection, struggle, and failure. He started with nothing. He risked everything more than once. He was rejected repeatedly. He was pushed out of his own company, yet he never stopped. He turned every failure into a lesson, every rejection into motivation, and every setback into a stepping stone for something greater. And this is the lesson for all of us. Success is not about luck. It is about relentless perseverance, the willingness to take risks, and the courage to keep going even when everything seems against you. Musk's journey had only just begun, because after PayPal, he was about to take the biggest risk of his life, investing every dollar he had into something that most people thought was completely insane. He was about to enter the world of rockets and space travel. And what happened next changed the world forever. Are you ready to hear how Elon Musk almost lost everything before making history? Let me know, and we will continue with the next chapter. The gamble of a lifetime, Elon Musk's leap into space and electric cars. By 2002, Elon Musk had achieved more than most people could dream of. He had sold his second company, PayPal, and walked away with $165 million. He was financially free. He could have retired, bought a private island, and lived in luxury for the rest of his life. But Musk had never been driven by wealth. He was driven by something far greater, a desire to change the world. And so instead of playing it safe, he did the unthinkable. He took nearly every dollar he had and bet it all on two industries where failure was almost certain: space exploration and electric cars. This is the story of how he almost lost everything. The birth of SpaceX, a dream too big for most people. For as long as he could remember, Musk had been obsessed with space. He believed that humanity's survival depended on becoming a multi-planetary species. To him, this was not just science fiction, it was a necessity. But when he looked at the aerospace industry, he saw a major problem. Space travel was too expensive, too inefficient, and completely controlled by governments and giant corporations that had no real incentive to innovate. So Musk did what most people thought was impossible. In 2002, he founded SpaceX, Space Exploration Technologies Corporation, with one goal: to revolutionize space travel by making rockets reusable and drastically lowering costs. There was just one problem: he had no experience in rocket science, no team, and no real knowledge of the aerospace industry. Most people would have stopped right there. But Musk did what he always did. He learned everything he could as fast as possible. He read rocket engineering textbooks, met with experts, and hired some of the best engineers in the world. But theory is one thing, execution is another. Failure after failure, the edge of collapse. From 2006 to 2008, SpaceX attempted 3 rocket launches, and every single one of them failed. Each launch cost tens of millions of dollars. Each failure brought the company closer to bankruptcy. By 2008, Musk was in the worst situation of his life. He had burned through nearly all his money, pouring everything into SpaceX and Tesla, the electric car company he had also invested in. Tesla was struggling to survive. SpaceX was on the verge of collapse. Musk was personally in debt. This was the moment where most people would have quit, but Musk did not quit. Instead, he made one final gamble. The 4th launch, a moment of no return. With just enough money left for one final rocket launch, Musk and his team prepared for what would be their last chance. If this 4th launch failed, SpaceX would die. Tesla would likely fail too. Musk would have lost everything. And then, on the 28th of September 2008, The Falcon 1 rocket successfully reached orbit, making SpaceX the first private company in history to do so. Everything changed in an instant. Just months later, NASA awarded SpaceX a contract worth $1.6 billion to transport cargo to the International Space Station. SpaceX had been saved, but Musk was still not out of danger, because while SpaceX had secured funding, Tesla was still on life support. Tesla, a company on the brink of death. Musk had joined Tesla Motors in 2004 as an investor and later took over as CEO. At the time, the idea of electric cars was a joke to most people. The auto industry was dominated by gasoline-powered vehicles, and many believed that electric cars would never be practical. But Musk had a vision. He wanted to prove that electric cars could be just as powerful, stylish, and desirable as any luxury vehicle. In 2008, Tesla released its first car, the Tesla Roadster. The technology was groundbreaking, but the company was bleeding money. The costs of production were too high, and Tesla was on the verge of bankruptcy. Once again, Musk did something no one expected. He took the last remaining money he had and personally funded Tesla's survival. Then, at the last possible moment, something incredible happened. In December 2008, just weeks after SpaceX secured its NASA contract, Tesla received a massive investment from private investors and a loan from the US government. The company survived, but barely. What we can learn from this period of Musk's life: there is a common myth that successful people have smooth journeys, that if you are smart, talented, or lucky enough, success will come easily. But Musk's story proves that success is never easy. It is brutal, uncertain, and often terrifying. In just 2 years, he had gone from being a multi-millionaire to being completely broke. Most people would have walked away, but Musk did not, because he understood a truth that most people do not. The only way to truly fail is to give up. If he had quit after the first rocket failure, SpaceX would not exist today. If he had walked away when Tesla was running out of money, electric cars might still be a niche market. If he had decided to play it safe, he would have never changed the world. Musk teaches us that if you believe in something deeply enough, you must be willing to suffer for it. And if you refuse to quit, no matter how hard it gets, you might just achieve the impossible. But this was just the beginning, because after surviving the worst years of his life, Musk was about to lead two of the most revolutionary companies in modern history to global success. Are you ready to hear how Tesla and SpaceX became giants that changed the world forever? Let me know, and we will continue the journey. The rise of Tesla and SpaceX, turning struggle into triumph. By the end of 2008, Elon Musk had barely survived the most difficult period of his life. Both Tesla and SpaceX had come dangerously close to bankruptcy. He had poured every last dollar he had into keeping them alive. But survival was not enough. Musk did not just want his companies to exist, he wanted them to revolutionize their industries. And that is exactly what he did. This is the story of how Tesla and SpaceX went from the brink of failure to changing the world forever. Tesla proving that electric cars were the future. In 2008, Tesla had only one product, the Tesla Roadster, a sleek, high-performance electric sports car. It was impressive, but it was also expensive. And few people believed electric cars could compete with gasoline-powered vehicles. But Musk was determined to prove them wrong. He knew that to truly change the automotive industry, Tesla needed to do three things: make electric cars desirable, not slow, boring vehicles, but fast, stylish, and technologically advanced cars, lower the cost over time, start with high-end models, and eventually make them affordable for the mass market. Build an infrastructure to support them, charging station software, and an entire ecosystem around Tesla vehicles. This was a bold plan, but Tesla still had one massive problem on it. The fight for Tesla's survival. Despite the last-minute funding in late 2008, Tesla was still struggling financially. The company needed a major investment to keep going. Once again, Musk personally took charge. He worked relentlessly to convince investors that Tesla was not just another car company, it was the future of transportation. In 2010, Tesla became the first American car company in decades to go public, raising over $226 million in its initial public offering. This was a turning point. With fresh capital, Tesla expanded its operations and focused on developing its next major product, the Model S. The Model S, the car that changed everything. In 2012, Tesla launched the Model S, a luxury electric sedan that shattered expectations. It was not just a good electric car, it was one of the best cars ever made, period. It was fast, with instant acceleration that outperformed most sports cars. It was high-tech, featuring a giant touchscreen interface and over-the-air software updates. It had an impressive battery range, addressing one of the biggest concerns about electric cars. Critics and consumers alike were blown away. The Model S won numerous awards, including Motor Trend's Car of the Year. For the first time, the world saw that electric cars were not just possible, they were superior. But Musk was not done yet. Building the Tesla ecosystem, a great car was not enough. Musk knew that for Tesla to succeed long-term, it needed infrastructure. So Tesla started building a network of supercharger stations across the world to make long-distance travel in an electric car practical. Gigafactories, massive battery production facilities to drive down costs and increase supply. Autonomous driving technology pushing Tesla toward a future where cars could drive themselves. At the same time, Tesla introduced the Model X 2015, the Model 3 2017, and the Model Y 2020, expanding its reach and making electric vehicles accessible to more people. The result? By 2021, Tesla became the most valuable car company in the world, surpassing giants like Toyota, Volkswagen, and Ford. SpaceX, redefining space exploration. While Tesla was transforming the auto industry, SpaceX was making history in an even bigger way. After winning its NASA contract in 2008, SpaceX continued developing the Falcon 9, a reusable rocket that would drastically reduce the cost of space travel. In 2012, SpaceX became the first private company to dock a spacecraft Dragon with the International Space Station. This proved that commercial spaceflight was not only possible, it was more efficient than traditional government programs. But Musk had an even bigger goal to make rockets fully reusable. The breakthrough? Landing rockets like science fiction. For decades, rockets were used only once and then discarded, making space travel extremely expensive. Musk wanted to change that. After years of testing, in 2015, SpaceX achieved a milestone that many thought was impossible. They successfully landed a Falcon 9 rocket back on Earth after launching it into space. This was one of the most significant moments in the history of space exploration. A year later, SpaceX landed another rocket on a floating platform in the middle of the ocean, proving that reusability was not just an idea, it was a reality. This breakthrough reduced the cost of launching payloads into space by more than 50%. Starship, the mission to Mars? But Musk's ultimate goal was never just to launch satellites or transport cargo. His vision was far bigger, colonizing Mars. To do that, SpaceX began developing Starship, the most ambitious spacecraft ever built. It is designed to carry up to 100 people. It will be fully reusable, making interplanetary travel financially viable. It could be the key to making life multiplanetary. Musk believes that in the coming decades, humans will establish a permanent colony on Mars, and SpaceX will be the company that makes it possible. The lesson from Tesla and SpaceX's rise? So what can we learn from how Musk took Tesla and SpaceX from near failure to world-changing success? Ignore the critics. People laughed at Tesla. They dismissed SpaceX. Musk ignored them and proved them wrong. Embrace risk. He bet his entire fortune when others would have played it safe. Think long-term. Tesla and SpaceX were not overnight successes. They took years of struggle and innovation. solve real problems. The most successful companies in history are the ones that solve fundamental human challenges. Today, Tesla is leading the electric vehicle revolution, and SpaceX is opening the doors to space travel like never before. But Musk's story does not end here, because in the next phase of his life, he would take on even more industries, create new companies, and face some of his biggest controversies yet. Are you ready to explore how Musk expanded his empire beyond Tesla and SpaceX? Let me know, and we will continue. Beyond Tesla and SpaceX, Elon Musk's expanding vision. By the mid-2010s, Elon Musk had already transformed two of the most challenging industries in the world. Tesla was proving that electric cars were the future, and SpaceX had made space travel dramatically cheaper and more efficient. For most people, that would have been enough. But Musk was just getting started. He was about to expand his empire into new industries, tackling some of humanity's biggest challenge: transportation, artificial intelligence, brain-computer interfaces, and even underground tunnels. This is the story of how he built even more companies, pushing the limits of innovation while facing increasing controversy and criticism. The birth of Neuralink, merging humans with AI. By 2016, Musk was becoming more vocal about a growing concern: the rise of artificial intelligence. He feared that AI could one day surpass human intelligence, posing an existential risk to humanity. Instead of waiting for that moment to arrive, Musk decided to act. In 2016, he co-founded Neuralink, a company focused on developing brain-computer interfaces. The goal? To allow direct communication between the human brain and computers. At first, this sounded like pure science fiction, but the technology had very real potential. Neuralink aimed to help people with neurological disorders, such as paralysis, Alzheimer's, and brain injuries, by creating implants that could restore lost functions. In the long term, Musk envisioned something even bigger, enhancing human cognition so that people could one day merge with AI, keeping up with artificial intelligence rather than being left behind. But Neuralink was not Musk's only new project. The Boring Company, reinventing transportation underground. At the same time that Musk was tackling the future of human cognition, he was also thinking about a much more practical problem: traffic congestion. Anyone who has spent time in major cities knows how frustrating traffic can be. Musk believed that traditional solutions like adding more lanes or building more highways were inefficient. So in 2016, he founded the Boring Company with the goal of creating underground tunnels for high-speed transportation. The idea was simple but revolutionary. Dig tunnels beneath cities to create an alternative to crowded highways. Use electric-powered platforms to move vehicles at high speeds. Reduce travel time significantly, avoiding the limitations of above-ground infrastructure. Critics dismissed the Boring Company as a joke. They argued that tunneling was too expensive and impractical. But Musk, as always, ignored the doubters. By 2018, the Boring Company had already built its first test tunnel in Los Angeles. Soon after, it began developing projects in Las Vegas, Texas, and other locations, aiming to prove that underground transportation could work. Once again, Musk was taking on an industry that has seen little innovation in decades, challenging the status quo. Hyperloop, the future of high-speed travel? While the Boring Company focused on urban transportation, Musk had an even bigger vision for long-distance travel. In 2013, he introduced the concept of the Hyperloop, a system of high-speed capsules traveling through vacuum-sealed tubes. Theoretically, Hyperloop pods could reach speeds of more than 700 miles per hour, making it possible to travel from Los Angeles to San Francisco in under 30 minutes. Musk did not immediately build the Hyperloop himself, but instead open-sourced the idea, encouraging other companies to develop the technology. Since then, multiple startups have worked on Hyperloop prototypes, and while no large-scale system has been built yet, the concept remains a potential revolution in transportation. Tesla's expansion, more than just cars. While Musk was launching new ventures, Tesla was also evolving far beyond just being a car company. By the late 2010s, Tesla had expanded into multiple areas, including solar energy. Through its acquisition of SolarCity, Tesla began producing solar panels and solar roofs to provide clean energy solutions. Battery storage. Tesla's Powerwall and Megapack battery systems allowed homes and businesses to store electricity for later use. Autonomous driving. Tesla was developing full self-driving FSD technology, aiming to make cars fully autonomous. Musk's vision for Tesla was no longer just about electric vehicles, it was about creating a fully sustainable energy ecosystem. But as Tesla and Musk's influence grew, so did the controversy surrounding him. Public controversies and increasing scrutiny. By 2018, Musk was not just a visionary entrepreneur, had become a polarizing public figure. Several incidents drew attention. The funding secured tweet in August 2018, Musk tweeted that he was considering taking Tesla private at $420 per share, claiming he had funding secured. The statement turned out to be misleading, leading to an investigation by the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC. Musk was fined $20 million and forced to step down as Tesla's chairman. Conflicts with the media. As Musk became more outspoken on social media, his confrontational attitude toward journalists and critics led to multiple public disputes, COVID-19, and Tesla factory shutdowns. During the early days of the pandemic, Musk publicly criticized lockdowns, calling them fascist. He defied orders to close Tesla's California factory, leading to further controversy. Despite these issues, Tesla continued to grow and Musk's fan base remained loyal. SpaceX's most ambitious milestone, human spaceflight. While Tesla was dominating the automotive industry, SpaceX was making history once again. In May 2020, SpaceX became the first private company in history to send astronauts into space, launching NASA astronauts to the International Space Station aboard the Crew Dragon spacecraft. This was a defining moment for commercial space travel. It proved that private companies could safely and reliably transport humans to space, opening the door to a new era of space exploration. From there, SpaceX continued pushing boundaries, developing the Starship rocket for future Mars missions, launching thousands of Starlink satellites to provide global internet coverage, becoming NASA's top partner for space transportation. Musk's dream of making humanity a multi-planetary species was closer than ever. The Twitter takeover, Musk's most unexpected move. In 2022, Musk shocked the world again this time by acquiring Twitter for $44 billion. His takeover of the social media platform was one of the most controversial moments of his career. He promised to restore free speech, remove bots, and improve the platform's business model. However, the transition was chaotic. Thousands of employees were laid off. Major advertisers pulled their funding. New policies were introduced and then reversed. Some saw Musk as a champion of free expression. Others saw him as reckless and impulsive. Regardless of opinions, one thing was clear: Musk was once again disrupting an industry, this time in the world of digital communication. What Musk's expanding empire teaches us: Elon Musk's story is no longer just about Tesla and SpaceX. It is about constantly pushing the limits of what is possible. He took on the auto industry and won. He took on aerospace giants and won. He is challenging artificial intelligence, brain technology, underground transportation, and global communication. And whether you admire him or criticize him, one thing is undeniably refuses to accept limits. But Musk's journey is far from over, because in the final part of his story, we will explore his long-term vision for humanity, his lasting impact, and what the future holds for the man who wants to take us to Mars. Elon Musk's vision for the future. What comes next? Elon Musk's journey has already reshaped multiple industries. He has transformed the way we think about electric vehicles, space travel, artificial intelligence, renewable energy, and digital communication. But if you think he is done, you do not understand the way Musk operates. For him, every success is just another stepping stone. every challenge is an opportunity to push further. His vision extends far beyond what most people can even imagine. So, what does the future hold for Elon Musk? What are the next frontiers he is trying to conquer? And more importantly, what can we learn from his relentless drive to push humanity forward? Colonizing Mars, the ultimate mission. If there is one goal that defines Musk's long-term vision, it is making humanity a multi-planetary species. For decades, space agencies and scientists have discussed sending humans to Mars. But for Musk, it is not just a possibility, it is a necessity. He believes that if humanity stays confined to Earth, we are vulnerable to extinction-level events, whether from natural disasters, climate change, artificial intelligence, or even self-destruction. The only way to secure the future of our species is to spread beyond our home planet. And he is not just talking, he's building. The Starship program, the vehicle that will take us to Mars, through SpaceX, Musk is developing Starship, the most powerful and ambitious spacecraft ever created. It is designed to carry up to 100 people per mission. It is fully reusable, drastically reducing the cost of space travel. It will be capable of traveling between Earth and Mars, laying the foundation for colonization. Musk envisions the first human landing on Mars within the next decade. His goal is not just to visit it, it's to establish a self-sustaining city on Mars, where humans can live permanently. But this mission is unlike anything humanity has ever attempted. It requires solving massive engineering, biological, and logistical challenges. Most experts say it is impossible. But that is exactly what they said about reusable rockets, about electric cars, about private spaceflight. And yet, Musk proved them wrong. The question is not if humanity will reach Mars, the question is when. The future of artificial intelligence. Will we control it or will it control us? While working on space travel, Musk is also deeply concerned about artificial intelligence. He has repeatedly warned that AI could become one of the greatest threats to humanity. If AI surpasses human intelligence and becomes uncontrollable, it could make decisions that humans no longer have the ability to reverse. This is why he co-founded OpenAI, one of the leading artificial intelligence research companies. His goal was to ensure AI development remains safe and aligned with human interests. However, in recent years, Musk has distanced himself from OpenAI, arguing that it has strayed from its original mission. Instead, he has launched a new AI initiative, XAI, with the goal of creating artificial intelligence that benefits humanity rather than competing with it. He believes that rather than fearing AI, humans should find ways to merge with it, which brings us to another of his futuristic projects, Neuralink, connecting the human brain to machines. With Neuralink, Musk is working to create brain-computer interfaces that could restore movement for people with paralysis, allow direct communication between humans and AI, enhance cognitive abilities, making people more intelligent and efficient. While this sounds like science fiction, Neuralink has already made major breakthroughs, including successful brain chip implants in animals and preparing for human trials. Musk envisions a future where people can control devices with their thoughts, store and retrieve memories like a computer, and even achieve a form of human-AI symbiosis, Tesla's evolution, beyond cars. At the same time, Tesla is moving beyond being just an automaker, autonomous driving. Musk has promised that Tesla vehicles will become fully autonomous, meaning they will drive themselves without any human intervention. While progress has been slower than expected, Tesla's self-driving technology continues to improve. If successful, this could completely eliminate the need for human drivers, transforming transportation forever. Tesla Bot, the future of robotics. In 2021, Musk unveiled Tesla Bot, a humanoid robot designed to perform repetitive and dangerous tasks. His vision is that robots could work in factories, eliminating hazardous jobs, assist in homes, helping the elderly and disabled, even integrate with AI to perform complex tasks. While still in early development, the Tesla bot represents another industry Musk is attempting to revolutionize. The biggest question, will Musk succeed in everything? Elon Musk's ambitions are so vast, so audacious, and so unconventional that many wonder, will he actually achieve all of this? The reality is that not everything he attempts will succeed. Even Musk admits that many of his projects could fail. But here is what makes him different. He is willing to fail. He was willing to risk everything on Tesla and SpaceX when both were collapsing. He was willing to ignore the critics who said electric cars would never work. He was willing to bet on private space flight even when governments and aerospace giants dismissed it. And time after time, he proved that taking risks is the only way to truly innovate. The final lesson, what we can learn from Elon Musk, love him or hate him. Musk is one of the most relentless visionaries of our time. He does not accept limits. He embraces risk. He constantly reinvents himself and his companies. And that is the key lesson. The future belongs to those who refuse to settle for what already exists. Musk has built companies that many people thought were impossible. And if history tells us anything, it is that he is not done yet. What comes next? With Mars colonization, artificial intelligence, brain-computer interfaces, robotics, and autonomous technology, Musk is shaping the future in ways that most people cannot even comprehend yet. The question is not whether he will succeed in everything. The question is, who else is even trying? And that is why his story is so powerful. Because it is not just about Musk. It is about what happens when one person dares to think bigger than the rest of the world. And that, more than anything, is what makes him a figure unlike any other. This concludes Elon Musk's extraordinary journey from a young boy in South Africa to a man reshaping the future. Thank you for following this story. And now I leave you with a question. What bold idea are you willing to pursue, no matter how impossible it seems?